Galaxy's Edge issue 4 sees the First Order chase 2 resistance suspects through the forest of Batuu. Deploying a tread speeder, they chase the 2 suspects down, killing them. The Sergeant of the Red Fury finds this is a waste of their time since they aren't even resistance. The Sergeant is alerted to another tip of a fugitive sighting with death marks ordered by General Hux himself. He orders his men to head to the spaceport as one of the actual resistance spies hides out nearby. At Doc Ondar's shop, the Ithorian looks over a statue, saying that he hasn't forgotten his mother and father. Hondo comes to see him, saying that there is a crew on Black Spire who are gunning for the Ithorian's antiques. Doc implores him not to talk about such things out on the streets, so going inside, a spy droid watches them. The droid belongs to Remex and his crew, who watch as Hondo talks to Doc about how Kendoh supposedly knows about the sword of Cassian. Doc says that if the 2 halves of the sword are joined, it would be too much power in the wrong hands. Doc knows with all that's happening, they need to move half the sword that they have, and Kendoh knows that this is their opening that they need to move forward with their heist. As Kendoh goes to prepare, Remex deactivates their spy device, letting Doc know what they plan. Hondo meanwhile wants the Ithorian to tell him what happened 30 years prior with Dr. Aphra, and if he really left her on that planet. 30 years before, Dr. Aphra says that having her benefactor come on a mission with her makes it complicated. Doc reminds her that he's no amateur when it comes to archaeological digs, but Aphra wasn't talking about that. 000 vaguely threatens the Ithorian, who is glad he brought extra muscle. Aphra begins her briefing of the target, the Sword of Cassian, which was made by a secret sect of the Sith who thought lightsabers were for the weak. Doc comments about how the blade is as beautiful as it was from the Sith engravings his parents owned. Luckily, Aphra was able to steal a map of the sword's resting place from the university she studied at. As the debriefing comes to a close, Aphra wants it known that she is giving up a lot of money by not opening up the bidding to other buyers, but she wants to renegotiate later. Soon they land on the Sith homeworld of Moraband, and entering a Sith temple, Aphra warns of traps left by the Sith as one of Doc's guards steps on said trap, bringing to life a set of Sith armor, which attacks them. In the confusion, Aphra manages to activate a thermal detonator and kill the Sith guard, but Doc's security isn't too happy with her, but she says how could she have known that there would be a sentry in the tomb after all of these years. On the ship, Doc loses communications with Aphra and his guard as 000 prepares his knives and interrogation tools. Aphra meanwhile is glad that BT managed to jam their signals as they head further into the tomb, following the quickest path to the sword. She reminds the droid not to let the guard die by a trap, otherwise the astromech won't get to kill him later. Aphra has BT send out a little probe droid ahead of them, learning that one of the dangerous laser grids is still blocking their path. Eventually they make it to the throne room, where Aphra gets the guard to retrieve the sword. Suddenly she can feel a wind blow through the temple and yells for the guard to run as a giant Sith hound arrives, chasing them. BT trips up the guard, leaving him to be a snack for the hound as Aphra comes up with a plan, luring the hound into the laser grid, killing it instantly. Retrieving the sword, they make it outside, hoping Trip hasn't killed Doc yet so they can surprise him with a renegotiation. They soon find that Doc has actually taken apart 000, saying the droid found out he doesn't like surprises. Back in the present, Hondo wonders if Doc just left Aphra there on Moraband, but the Ithorian says that the rest of the story can wait, since they need to get moving. Kendoh and the others arrive, however, revealing that they took out Doc's security droid. Doc says that that wasn't his primary security though, activating BK-86. Remex contacts Kendoh, who reminds him that this channel is only to be used in emergencies, and Remex says that this is quite the emergency as the First Order are just outside Doc's shop looking for resistance spies. Galaxy's Edge issue 4 continued the really fun world building of Batuu and its citizens and how it ties into the larger Star Wars universe. I thoroughly enjoyed Hondo's role in this issue as well as Dr. Aphra's involvement in the plot to get the Sith sword. It's great we got some classic Aphra adventuring this issue with the trip to Moraband, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it's all capped off next issue and if Kendoh succeeds in her grand heist. I'm going to give this issue an 8 out of 10.